Global soy production has exploded in the last 50 years, becoming the largest driver of global deforestation, just behind livestock. Because unlike what you might think, it is not the rise in veganism that is wrecking our food systems. So what does? All of this leads us to one big question, and that is, how bad is soy? My name is Jessie Fram. I post weekly videos teaching you about the world of sustainability. I had to do a ton of research for this video, and that's why I saved references for you in the comments. When people think of soy, they often picture tofu, edamame beans, soy milk, and tempeh. However, the real soy production is quite different. Let's look at this graph. On the left, you see total global soy production, and in the middle, there are three categories of use cases: direct human food, animal feed, and industrial processes. On the far right, you see the end use of these products. In the blue bar, we see that only 7% of soy is consumed by humans through products like tofu, edamame beans, soy milk, and tempeh. So it's not your vegan friend who are killing the planet. The rest of the soy grown is used for products like biofuel, industry, or vegetable oil. So we are producing soy predominantly for three purposes: meat, dairy, and soybean oil. Soy production has skyrocketed in the past 50 years, now 13 times higher than in the early 1960s, and more than doubled since the 2000s. We used to produce around 20 to 30 million tons per year in the 60s. Now that number is around 350 million tons. Boosting agricultural production can be done in two ways. Either become more efficient at land usage, allowing us to produce more on the land we already have, or the alternative is we can use more land, and that requires us to clear forests. While yields has improved, most of the increase has come from expanding croplands, often by cutting down forests. In total, soy production takes up an area the size of France, Netherlands, Germany, and Belgium combined. And from 2005 to 2013, the world lost an average of 5.5 million hectares of forests every year to agricultural land. The latest satellite data shows deforestation at a rate of 4 million hectares per year, with almost half in Brazil and Indonesia. Deforestation happens mostly in tropical and subtropical countries. About 70 to 80% is due to converting primary forests into farms or tree plantations. And as you can see here on the graph, beef is the main sinner, and it is produced mainly in Brazil and Latin America. Next to it, we have oilseeds, which are soybean and palm oil predominantly. And this is happening in Brazil, Latin America, but also Indonesia. But hold on, so all of this land is cleared and grown for just one crop? Yes, that is correct. And it is why we need to talk about monocultures or single crop farming. Monocultures have huge implications for biodiversity. Many original species and vegetations don't thrive, leading to massive biodiversity loss. Between 2001 and 2010, around 4 million hectares of forests were lost each year in South America, and that's mainly for soy and beef production. The Cerrado is one of the world's most biodiverse regions and hosts to 5% of global animal and plant species, including many endangered ones. By 2018, half of its savanna and forest had turned into agricultural land. This harms wildlife, destroys habitat, and makes the regions more prone to forest fires, threatening its biodiversity even more. This is so important that we keep bringing awareness to, and we need to acknowledge that this is something that's happening around the world, and that's exactly what we're aiming to do here at the Planet 1.5 YouTube channel. So if you like this video so far, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss a video. Soy and palm oil production affects local communities and their livelihoods. In 2012, I had the honor of spending time with a local community in the island of Lombok in Indonesia. And here, illegal tree logging in high altitude had an enormous impact on the locals' water systems. In mountain areas, you need trees to draw water upwards, and this meant that the local community struggled to pump enough water to their homes for basic things like flushing the toilet. A tree planting system was funded by a US organization, but planting trees in dry soil is as impossible as trying to grow crops in a desert without water. In Brazil, increasing land for soy production has often come at the expense of forests. The dominant driver of deforestation was pasture for beef production, not soybean, especially after Brazil's soy moratorium. This campaign ensures farmers growing soy on illegally deforested land couldn't even sell their grown supplies. Satellite imagery helps to identify soybean crops grown on deforested areas, and that's been in place since 2009. But the thing is, the problem hasn't been eliminated. It has just been moved somewhere else, which we can observe via trade structures. Businesses play a significant role in deforestation, and as of 2001, forest covered about 31% of the world's land area, but it is disappearing at an alarming rate. I worked on a Greenpeace campaign highlighting that Tesco, which is a UK supermarket chain, was the biggest sinner of deforestation in the UK due to soy-fed chicken. Now, their $2.99 Sunday roast chicken might seem cheap, but the environmental cost is high. If you like it when I share personal experiences like this one, go and follow my LinkedIn where I post almost daily. There are major corporations behind deforestation, including Chargrill, this US company who is involved in ecosystem destruction for soy beef production in South America, and palm oil in Indonesia and Malaysia. Another one is JBS, a leading beef exporter in Brazil, linked to illegal deforestation multiple times. These companies conduct billions of dollars of business worldwide, and really it should be mandated that they source their products ethically and sustainable. I know many of the viewers on this channel are keen on working for broader change in their organizations. At Planet 1.5, we are on a mission to support change makers out there in many different ways. If this is you, consider taking the quiz. Are you ready to lead your company's sustainable transformation? It is really giving you great insights on how you can get started, so I left a link for you in the comments below. When comparing soy to other protein sources, it takes like 3 times more land to produce chicken than soy, 9 times more land for pork than soy, and 32 times more for beef. That's mind-blowing, right? So perhaps our vegans do have a point. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Prioritizing soy products as a protein source over traditional poultry and meat production could be a more sustainable choice, benefiting both the environment and our food systems. If we completely transitioned from beef to vegan food, we would decrease the need for land for agriculture by, hold your horses, 94%. I'm not preaching that everyone must go vegan. However, imagine if we just halved the amount of meat consumption. Just putting it out there. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments below. There are so many fantastic alternatives hitting the supermarket shelf every single day, and I'm excited to continue to follow how this landscape develops because the world really needs it. We cannot rely on soy alone, but we can look at alternatives to beef, poultry and pork to step closer to that greener future. Speaking of things you can do to support a greener future, head over to this video where I share 50 things I have stopped buying as an eco-friendly minimalist. I will see you there.